Hi, this is Dimitri Bilgier, and I want to talk to you real briefly about the difference between the way things are distributed in the physical world with our physical self and in the spiritual world with our spiritual self, because there's a big difference, and noticing it has helped me out a lot. So first of all, I want to talk briefly about the physical world. And in the physical world, things are not distributed evenly. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, there was a mathematician a couple hundred years ago named Pareto who came up with a thing called the Pareto Principle. But it's also called the 80-20 principle. And what that says is that generally speaking, things are, in the physical world, in the non-spiritual world, are broken up that 20% outweighs the 80%. For instance, 20% of your carpeting in your house gets 80% of your wear. 20% of your clothing is worn 80% of the time. 20% of the things you do tend to produce 80% of the results in your life. It's disproportional. It might not be 80-20, it might be something different. It might be 70-30 or 95-5, but there's an imbalance that's natural in the physical world. And we certainly see it that a small number of the people have most of the wealth. It's just imbalance. That's the way things are. Now, you also, however, have a spiritual self. So in your physical self, you're always contending with, wow, things are imbalanced and I have to deal with that, right? But there's also your spiritual self. Now, your spiritual self doesn't depend on things of the world for its sustenance the way the physical self does. So it's not so concerned with this 80-20 disproportionality of the distribution of resources. For your spiritual self, there is a 100%. And that 100% is the distribution of divine love, mercy, that is distributed 100% throughout the entire universe. That it's equal everywhere. And another way to say that is something we often hear, that you're sufficed 100% of the time, no matter what's going on for you. No matter what your circumstances, you're sufficed all the time. That is this 100%, that it's always there. I remember there was one time I was sitting in a parking garage, really deep underground. And I was sitting in my car and I was just spending a few moments turning to the divine and really opening myself to that divine current that's always going. Really letting myself tune into it and participate in that love that was always there. And I was really feeling it. And my brain said, wow, you know, the reception's really good here. My cell phone would never get reception this good way down in this parking garage. But I'm able to receive divine love here just as well as anywhere else. And that's because it's evenly distributed. It's distributed 100%. So this is a really good thing to know, because we get caught up in the fact that our physical self lives in a disproportional world, and we get upset by that. And we start to think almost like spiritually in the same thing, that there's a spiritual scarcity in the same way that there can be a physical scarcity. But what I want this little video to remind you of is that that's not so. That no matter what's going on in the physical world, no matter where you are in the 80-20, no matter what's going on for you in the imbalance, there still is that 100% everywhere, even distribution of divine love throughout the universe that you can tune into at any time. So you don't have to get caught up in the worry of the physical world, even as you're dealing with it, because you can keep going back to, oh yeah, in the spiritual world, it's not imbalance. Wherever I am, whatever's going on, I can open to the experience, and it's equally there. So that's just a brief reminder from me to you to not get too caught up in the physical, really, in the 80-20, it's real. Remember the 100% that's always there, and it'll help see you through those difficult times in the 80-20 world that we live in. This is Dimitri Bilgier, signing off.